I felt that apartheid is unacceptable, but I felt there was this sort of bumper sticker view of it, and it was far more complex based on the tribal rivalries, because I was fascinated that something that was so horrendous and that such a small minority could prevail for almost 50 years shows there's something else going on. And what was so interesting writing this book, subsequent to the fall of apartheid, I could get access to information I did not know before. And Elsa, my leading lady, is deliberately of an Afrikaner extraction. She was Dutch extraction, a sort of farming girl, and it was the Afrikaners who were the ruling party since 1948. And Stanwell is a black miner from actually Malawi coming down as an indentured worker. And I thought that was intriguing. Here's a man coming from a free country to come and earn a living under the horrendous living standards of apartheid. And that is an indication of how complicated this was, because South Africa was the economic engine of Africa. And it's wonderful being free, but if you've got an empty belly, you have to fill it, you need a job. And so you had, there's literally this collision of cultures, and yet both were people of Africa. As I say, they had the dust of Africa in their veins. They are white Africans and black Africans, and in many ways see the world as that, not as European transplants or whatever. So in the midst of their very personal story, I deliberately set it in 1976, because 1976 was the year that television was introduced to South Africa for the very first time. That's 20 years later than any other country. So South Africans never saw the lunar landing, that type of thing. It was also the year we had the Soweto riots. And so we had people in their living rooms for the first time having this window into their lives 20 miles away, where they could see reflected back the social injustice. And so Elsa and Stanwell's love story that was deemed repugnant and interracial love those days, 7 years imprisonment for both parties. And in the context of the turbulence and turmoil, the government wanted to shut them down. And so there's this rather fraught story as they chase from the city of Johannesburg to the African bushveld, trying to be together, and yet the system will not allow them to be free. At the same token, as a bit of homage to the media world, how broadcasts, music, song, art can actually liberate people and give thought to the idea that the system is wrong. And there is one particular instance where the release of a Bob Marley record was deemed to be seditious by the government of the time, because it propagated the notion of freedom. And so there are all these layers of going on. There's the role of media, the fraught interracial love, the notion that government will get involved in affairs of the heart, how dare they? The tribal schisms between the Zulus and the Xhosas and the Sothos and the Vendas, and yet also, in a sense, the tribal issue between the English speaker and the Afrikaner, two white tribes who hated each other. And so there's all these moving parts. And the way I created the book is you have 1 year in the life of Elsa and Stanwell, but kind of integrate 100 years of South African history. And so there's a very powerful context for